What makes a true wizard king?
Greetings LT gamers, it's great to have you back on the channel. Today we're taking a deep dive into the mystical realm of Age of Wonders 4, the latest 4X strategy and turn-based tactical combat game from Triumph Studios and Paradox Interactive. Are you ready to unleash your inner wizard and rule over a fantastical world of your own creation? Hopefully the answer is yes, but first of course, if you like our content, please be sure to give me and Luke a like, drop us a comment on what you thought of Age of Wonders 4 or what you thought of our review, and of course we would always welcome a subscription as well. But let's jump into it. In Age of Wonders 4, you'll embark on a thrilling journey through uncharted magical realms, where every turn presents a new opportunity for exploration and conquest. As the leader of a powerful faction, you'll wield the awesome power of magic and build your kingdom from the ground up, using your strategic skills to grow your influence and dominate your opponents. So gather your troops, summon your magical powers, and let's dive into the enchanting world of Age of Wonders 4. Are you ready to claim your place among the ranks of the Wizard Kings? Let's go, LT gamers. Age of Wonders 4 in many ways adheres to the classical 4X structure that strategy gamers know and love. Starting out with a single city, you're building new structures, expanding into surrounding provinces, and assembling armies to explore the map and vanquish your foes. It all sounds rather formula so far. However, the latest game in this long-running series introduces unique features that sets it apart from its predecessors. The game opens up with the creation of your magical empire, where you select its physical form, traits, cultural leanings, and societal quirks, allowing you to create quite unusual empires, I must say, that can truly reflect your imagination. There are also presets available if you're a little bit overwhelmed, as I was in my first game, and it took me a little while to really dive into this full customization side. But this influences your empire's starting bonuses, alignment, and magical affinities, setting the stage for how you are going to influence the world around you. Here we are in the Age of Wonders 4 menu screen, and I thought it would be a good idea to showcase the degree of customization that is available within. So if we click New Game here,
Choose your destination.
we are taken to the realm screen, and there are the official lineup here that you can play with different difficulties and different kind of attributes assigned to them. We have a custom screen as well, which I assume will be downloadable maps that people can create themselves. But we're going to click the create realm, and we can see here that there is a huge amount that can be changed on each of the categories here, and we have the advanced setup as well, and you can really deep dive into the climates and the realm traits that are present. If we just click next here,
Your journey starts here.
we are then taken to the faction screen, where we can pick from either the premium set ones that are available or the create faction.
What is your people's form?
And this really becomes like a RPG game. It reminds me of character creation in Baldur's Gate or something. As you have a huge amount of variation on offer. So for the purpose of today, we can see the traits that each one embodies here. You know, Ratkin or quick reflexes or overwhelm, things like that. So let's go with some orcoids.
What is their origin culture?
And then we are taken to the culture screen, and this will start to affect the affinities. So we have these affinities that lend themselves to how your race will develop. And so if you select, for example, dark, you're going to have more affinity towards the shadow side of things, which is spells and units that center around death and decay, whereas on the other side of it we might have chaos or nature, and they would each have their own unique units and spells available there, as well as your empire development. If we select barbarian,
What defines their society?
we can then go into traits. So some of the traits are naturally lend themselves towards good or evil, as denoted by these symbols here. And they also will lend themselves more to a different affinity as well. If we select, for example, ritual cannibals, it will exclude certain other traits. So you can really start to customize, and let's say we're going to make a cannibalistic seafaring nation, and then I can select these. And then we come to the tome system, and tomes will give you access to a certain set of spells, as well as different initial bonuses that they offer. They will all align themselves to some type of affinity, be it shadow, chaos, material, whatever it is. And it's for you to kind of decide what will suit your playstyle. It's a little difficult when you begin this game to understand, a central quarry, is this good or bad? So don't beat yourself up if your first race that you create and the bonuses you pick aren't really very synergistic. So I'm going to go with the Tome of Roots here, because I quite like this one.
What is your ruler's origin?
And then it brings us onto the ruler origin screen. So I can either pick a champion who's a man or woman who's risen from the ranks of your people, and they'll be of your race. And they benefit a lot of kind of relations and just basically empower your nation as a whole, better income, stability, things like this. Whereas a wizard king is an immortal ruler. They can be from any race, and they benefit the spellcasting elements of the game. Both can be quite fun. I think the Wizard King, I love the spellcasting in this game, so I've found myself choosing this option more often. So from here,
reveal yourself.
We then go to the character customization. So this is all just aesthetics, and you can go through absolutely every aspect and completely customize your bloke. And you see, as I picked a Wizard King, he doesn't necessarily have to be an orcoid. So this bloke looks very onto it. Oh, sorry, this woman looks very onto it. And then the finalized screen will take you through just some small minor details of how you want to be, what you want to be called, your title, and then the name of your race. And then from there you click onward and your journey will begin on your custom map with your custom nation. So here we are in game, and I thought it would be very useful to go through how the UI looks. So we first of all have the Empire development screen, where you can pick different skills according to the affinities that you've gathered throughout the game. So I'm a little bit scattered in my game here, but you can see I'm very much tended to go towards the shadow affinity, and then a lot of general skills as well to augment and boost my economy. But it really does show the breadth of different customization that you have available here. The other element that's important to consider when undertaking any game is how you're going to achieve victory. And so you can pick many different paths to victory: military, expansion, magic, and score. And then you can also get quests on the side as well. So in this one, I am going for a military victory, although it seems like the magic victory might be closer within grasp for me. But you can also review your history on how you've done, and I really like the fact that no path to victory is that easy, and it is kind of a very unique and customizable pathway, but you can always pivot during a game. It's not like you're locked into one way of achieving your aim. Then we have the hero overview, where you can quickly go through the heroes that are in your service, either imprisoned, and then you can earn income off them with certain improvements, or in your crypt, and so you can choose to animate, resurrect, and recruit different heroes through this screen. And then we come to magic materials, which are resources which you're able to pick up on the overall map by taking over different provinces. So for example, here we have the Archean blood, and they give different effects when they're annexed, and they also give different global effects, as you can see on this screen here. So the Arcanium ore is allowing me to hurry recruitment for my units 25% cheaper. So these can be thought of as, additional resources that can become very strategically important to overtake in the game. And so I would definitely plan building your cities toward taking these over, as they can add quite powerful effects for your empire. Following that, we have the city overview, where we can see the total production, food, and kind of draft and gold that's being produced per city. Fairly standard stuff for 4X. But it's a nice little overview to kind of double check where everything is going on and what maybe needs to be improved. Of course, then we have the army screen, where we have a breakdown of our different heroes and the troops that are under their command. And finally, the Rally of the Lieges. So this gives you a list of draftable units from cities that are loyal to you. And it's quite an interesting feature because you get access to troops that aren't typically part of your faction or what you've taken over. So I would definitely advise you to take a look through these troops, look at the effects. So for example, I've been looking at this Butcher Ogre, and you can either recruit them for yourself or recruit them as part of your allies in the free cities. So for example, I recruited this army here from the draftable units just as an extra veneer of defense, so this wouldn't get taken over by my enemies. So I mentioned a little bit about the tome system in the character creation, but let's have a deeper look into how it actually looks in game. So here we can see my current availabilities for my arcane research, and I can visit my tome library to see where I stand and select my tomes. And we can see that I've really catered and veered towards the shadow affinity spells in this game. So we start with the tier 1 and the ones that I have researched, and these will all be in my available research pool. And then as I add more tomes, more and more spells will become available. It doesn't mean that I have to take every spell from each tome, but I will gradually jump up the tiers as I go and kind of cater my spells toward my playstyle. Now, one thing I would say, it's a little bit difficult in the beginning to know what spells are effective and what tomes you should really aim for. So I would encourage people to just experiment in the beginning, really have a flexible mindset with your playstyle and don't get too set in your ways. I feel like I maybe went too far down the shadow affinity route, and I feel like some of the devastation spells related, or rather the chaos affinity spells, would have been more beneficial to my playstyle. So it's up to you guys to explore. As you can see, there is a huge number of tomes available, which just speaks to the level of customization in this game. It really is next level. I've never seen a game in the 4X realm that quite has this degree of flexibility of playstyles at the end game to it. And one of the more exciting features of Age of Wonders 4 is the new storytelling event system, which provides unexpected levels of storytelling for 4X games. You can see your decisions shape the world around you, from growing cities to roaming armies and infestations and world warping magical effects. The best part is that the story doesn't end with your victory or defeat. You can then ascend your rulers in the post-game to this pantheon and unlock ways to further customize your experience from there. So you can encounter your creations as potential rivals and allies in subsequent games and continue building this chapter in your own story. And I think that is really cool. And of course, no strategy game is complete without epic battles. In Age of Wonders 4 delivers turn-based tactical battles that really bring your armies to life. From skirmishes with roaming monsters to vast sieges with dozens of units on each side, every battle is bringing a fresh challenge. And with the addition of things like the morale system and spellcasting augmented over the top, you really have to be strategic in your approach if you want to emerge victorious. But don't worry, the tremendous variety in empires, units, environments keeps the game feeling fresh and replayable with this aspect. And I would say from my personal experience that although I did start to veer towards using auto combat when I was fighting particularly neutral armies, the AI isn't that great when it comes to auto resolving the combat, and you often take more losses doing the battle that way. So I would find myself using the auto combat feature until I took some losses, and then I would jump into the battles which were more complex and interesting. So I found there was a good balance, and I didn't find myself spending hours and hours doing these tactical battles, which can get a little bit tedious in these sort of games. So I'm going to summarize my thoughts now into critiques, concerns, and then a conclusion for you guys. My critiques of the game are few and far between, to be honest with you. One thing I would say, and I've alluded to this in the combat section, is that sometimes the combat could get a bit samey. So you would find yourself fighting many small battles against mostly neutral armies, and I would be auto-resolving them. After some time, I was kind of hopeful that I wouldn't take a loss at any point, because then I could just auto-resolve and continue on with my game. So I'm not sure on what they could really change to keep that fresh, but overall the combat is pretty stellar. It's just, in a long drawn out game, it can get a little bit repetitive. That aside, I would also say there's a few minor kind of polish issues right now. I'm not sure if this will be in the final version of the game or this will be fixed, but things like invalid text strings and stuff like that. Otherwise, my only real gripe is that sometimes in the beginning of games it can seem quite samey. The empires don't really distinguish from each other very much. And so what I would say is maybe a little bit more variation in empires early on, but the middle and late game is still stellar. My other concern relates more to Paradox as a company. I have been a huge fan of their games, most notably Europe Universalis 4. And my concern is a game like this that is so vast in scope and scale will be ruined by Paradox's, let's say, penchant for DLCs and creating them. So I know they are going to create DLCs for this game. It's kind of assured that they are going to try and monetize such a valuable IP. So I really hope they keep the DLC releases to be, worthwhile rather than a cash grab. As I've said, I've found a few of their games have been ruined over time by just needless cash grabs of DLCs that don't really add any value to the game. That aside, my conclusion on Age of Wonders 4 is that it is an absolute buy if you love strategy games, and I think it is probably a buy even if you don't. I think this could win many people over. The graphics are beautiful, the aesthetic is absolutely stellar, and the gameplay and customization will keep the replayability fresh for a long time to come. Should you buy Age of Wonders 4? For me, it's a definite yes. I can see myself playing this game for years to come, and it's already probably one of my favorite releases, if not my favorite release of this year. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me and this review. If you have, please consider dropping us a comment with your thoughts, a like, as it helps with the algorithm, and of course, subscribe and join our journey. We are on the road to 5,000 subscribers this year, and me and Luke are super excited about the road plan we have ahead. Thank you for listening, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye now.